So it's all to play for still.
I think so. Do you want to bet against us?
Hi, villains, and welcome to For the Love of Paul McGrath podcast. Just waiting on Paddy. He should be on here any minute. But just until he does come, something very important needs to be done. At all times, I'm going to be doing speed tests throughout this podcast, just to make sure there has been an ongoing, I'm not going to say war, but I'm going to say there's been ongoing communications, let's just say, with my internet service provider. And I just wanted to maybe just test and see if if this is going to be stable. There's boosters being installed. It's hardwired. It's Wi-Fi enabled. Everything. And I'm just making 100% sure that I can keep this show on the road, because it was really frustrating last Thursday, when we did the podcast. So now there's proof. There's proof. It shouldn't be the potato-powered internet now that's going to cause issues today, but we will see. We'll see for sure. There's my partner in crime just in the door as well. Patrick, how are you?
I'm having an internet meltdown here, would you believe?
It's not you. If it's not me, it's you.
I think it's contagious, Neil.
It's contagious, is right. Yeah, it's contagious. Well, if you want to give me your date of birth and your mother's maiden name, and your address, I'll be able to ring out my internet provider and try and get you the same crack that I got as well, because I've plenty of practice over the last couple of days. I must say, in fairness, they were brilliant once I rang them. They were superb, and they got me all sorted out. Hopefully, fingers crossed. But anyway, we're not here to talk about internet speeds. We're not here to talk about the performance of my internet. We're here to talk about the performance of Aston Villa Football Club, and hopefully, talking about speed, we're hoping to see an absolute speed demon take to the field from minute 0, minute 1, whatever you want to call it, today in Leon Bailey. And Teamsheet, I think, is going to be really, really interesting today. I think there's a lot of rumors abound, Paddy. Unconfirmed, I'm going to say. I've only seen them fleetingly on the internet. Nothing from anyone that... I'm not going to say that the people I've seen it on are not reputable. I'm sure they are, but nobody that has a blue tick beside their name. Might be a good thing. It might be a bad thing. I don't know. But there are rumors abound that there are injuries to one or two players, namely Danny Ings and Douglas Luiz picked up a slight little strain. But once again, these things seem to pop up nearly every morning of a game that we play now, and we will only know when the team sheet is out. One or two murmurings this morning as well that we may have a different captain for today, that Tyrone Mings might be out as well, whether he's dropped or whether it's injury related. Saw that a lot less. Paddy, did you see anything like this, or am I hallucinating because I've only had like 90 minutes sleep in the last 3 days?
No, I haven't heard anything other than I got a message from you there while I was trying to log in here. But I haven't heard anything, and reading between the lines of what Dean Smith was saying, we're looking at a 3-5-2 again, and we're looking at the same team more or less from what I can see, unless, as you say, Danny Ings is injured or whatever. But everything is pointing towards Leon Bailey not being fit. They said they were managing his time. They rolled out to Nzabi for an interview yesterday, which would suggest he's probably playing. So that's just how my mind works when it comes to these things.
So, and the counter argument to that is that, yes, maybe they might be managing Leon Bailey, but that might still mean that they're playing 4-2-3-1 again. To Nzabi being rolled out could be a precursor to Tyrone Mings not being in the squad. Once again, I'm going to be 100% honest. What I'm mentioning here is 100% conspiratorial. It's conspiracy theory stuff. I know there is nothing. How the hell would I know anything like this? Just seeing it on Twitter like everyone else. But if it is the same, it would be... It's definitely something to look at. I'm going to start off, Paddy. I'm going to start off as well and say there is no point, absolutely no point in people shitting and pissing vinegar over the fact that if we play 3-5-2. There is 0 point. Let the game pan out. If he doesn't make changes, criticize him. That's fine. But everybody who's going to look into their crystal ball 5 minutes before a game or an hour and 5 minutes before a game and say, oh, we're playing 3-5-2. ultimate loss, Smith out, sack the board, sack the fucking players, fuck this, get out of my club, X, Y, and Z. It's the most pointless thing in football fandom of all time. Yes, have your say, but be prepared to be proven wrong, because anything can happen on the field. And yeah, there's a massive thing at the moment where everybody wants to be right about their take. I'm not trying to be right about my take. I want Aston Villa Football Club to win games. I want them to win with whoever the manager is. When I start talking about stuff, and sorry, I'm gone on a bit of a rant here. I start talking about context. I'm trying to talk about context anyway, at least. I'm not one of these people who's going to sit here and say he's had 3 years and spent 400 million. That means fuck all when you're talking about Dean Smith. I just want to get this off my chest really quickly. So if it is 3-5-2, let's see how it pans out and duly criticize him if it's poor at the end of the game. But there's no point in wishing for an Aston Villa loss or hoping, or because there's a 3-5-2 out there, just having a rat up your hole for the sake of it. Be there for it. Like, this is just me. Follow Villa however the fuck you want, but that's how I'm going to do it. That's how I'm going to do it. And I'm not going to apologize to anybody for being pro 3-5-2 if that's what we're going to start, because you have to pick the positives out of this stuff. Had to get that off my chest. Really had to. That one has been brewing inside me, because all I'm seeing is negativity about 3-5-2 as if it can never be fixed. And that is pretty silly to say that something like that can't be fixed. We may not fix it, and that's fine. Yeah. But just let the game play out.
Let's be fair, Neil. Most of the positivity is coming from people, or the negativity is coming from people that don't even go to games, that sit at home on their arse and don't get behind the team ever. No, well, you're not being negative, so that doesn't include you. But look, it's a pointless exercise not getting behind the team, because if anybody's wishing for us to lose in order to get rid of the manager, be careful what you wish for, because you're wishing for us to be dragged into a relegation battle. Because I looked at the table this morning, and I'm looking at the table going, we are closer to the drop than we are to even considering Europe. So we need to get behind the team. I'm not worried about the drop, but I'm just saying that's where we are.
Yeah, and like, I've seen things about the league table doesn't lie. The league table doesn't lie on the first week of June when the season is over. That's when the league table doesn't lie. The league table is full of lies and half truths and complete and utter nonsense on the 31st of October, because there's so much more left to play. The thing here is, what I'm saying here, Jason, is, and I'm not picking on you here, Jason, with this one. I just picked this. Problem is, how many times do we play the same system? How many times do we have to lose before the manager changes something? You can change something in a formation without changing the actual formation. So this is the thing. You can change things, and I'm not picking on you. I know exactly what you're saying, and I'm pro 4-2-3-1. I really am. But what I'm saying is that just because you see 3 center halves, 3 midfielders, 2 wing backs, and 2 strikers, it doesn't mean that there hasn't been something changed in how the formation is run, where the players are picking up, where our block starts, our spacing in midfield, our spacing in the center halves, how attacking our wing backs are going to be, so there could be systematic changes within the actual formation itself. And as I said, Jason, certainly not picking on you here. It's just there's so much put on and I'm not saying that you're doing this, but 3-5-2, oh shit, we're going to lose. It's going to be 7-0 to West Ham. Like, it may very well turn out to be that way, but let's see how the game pans out first. Let's see how first 10 minutes will tell an awful lot. Arsenal went out and destroyed a 3-5-2, a pseudo 3-5-2 that Leicester played yesterday. Now, nobody would have seen the poor Leicester start that they had, but Arsenal did exactly the same thing that they did to us. So they're,
Neil, I'm going to stop you, because you need to get that team up on screen, because there's a tantrum coming here, because there's a lot going on. We might be here for a while.
We won't, because unfortunately, everybody, I won't be here for a while. Let's go. Sorry, I'm having a bit of a natter. I'm sleep deprived at the minute, so I do apologize for my ramblings. Here comes the team. We have a lineup, unless. I haven't read. I'm not even looking at the names. Unless they're teasing us, Leon Bailey must be starting because his face is there. We have Martinez, Cash, Konza, House, Taggart. Ooh, no Mings, McGinn, Nakamba, Ramsey, Buendia, Bailey, and Watkins. There's your 4-2-3-1. There's your changes. There's your Dean Smith isn't stubborn anymore. He looked at what happened after the second half of the Arsenal game. He's made changes. I'm sure people are still going to be in open arms about the fact that Nakamba's in there. I'm sure people are going to be open arms about the fact that House is in there and there's no Mings. You wanted changes? We've got changes. I wanted changes? We've got changes. I'm bloody happy. Let's see what happens.
There you go. Well,
I'm sorry.
Is there any need for me to be here, Neil?
I'm shot out of a cannon today. I'm so sorry. I apologize. I'm absolutely
I'll just sit here and observe.
Anyway, talk to me, Paddy. Talk to me.
Okay, so is it a 4-2-3-1 or is it a 4-3-3? That's the big question here.
I think it's 4-2-3.
I'm leaning towards a 4-3-3 here.
Yeah.
Yes. Mings obviously dropped, or he wouldn't be on the bench.
Yes. Yes.
I think that's a massive statement from a strong manager. He hasn't exactly set the world on fire the last few weeks, and nobody is undroppable as far as I'm concerned. There's no other surprises on the bench, really. Ings is obviously injured, as is Douglas Luiz, who doesn't make the bench either. So we are a little bit tight when things need to be changed in midfield. Who would come in and do that in the Campbell role? Should he pick up an injury? I've absolutely no idea. Maybe Tuanzebe. There's a lot going on.
Maybe Carney, because we've been discussing Carney and a small bit, and I'm not going to criticize him. I'm not criticizing him. I don't want backlash for this, but he ain't the fastest player in the world. So maybe him dropping more into a kind of a more of a 6 or 8 role as opposed to a 10 will actually suit him when he pushes up a level to the first team. So maybe he's in there. No Sanson, which is no surprise considering Dean Smith actually acknowledged the fact that there was.
He said he was sick. He said he was sick, yeah.
Yeah, but he acknowledged the fact also as well that there was a bit of a ta-ta-ta at the Arsenal game. So, and look, maybe Mings has been dropped here because of that the fact himself and McGinn were going at it, the fact that maybe his head wasn't in it afterwards, maybe there was rumors that they were still arguing going down the tunnel, maybe they were asked to stop McGinn, but there could be something there. This Mings is a brilliant defender. He's our best centre half when he's on form with Konza, absolutely no doubt. But sometimes, people talk about losing the dressing room. Something like this could spark people into action. Strong leadership. If these are, we're speculating with a lot of these things, but if these are the reasons why people are dropped, I'm okay with it. No one, as Paddy said, no one is droppable. No one is undroppable. Sorry.
And there's a few players in there been given a chance as well. When you look at the likes of Aaron Ramsey and Keenan Davis on the bench, Cameron Arthur
Davis has turned into Robert Lewandowski all of a sudden as well at 23 level. Hitting crossbars for fun, scoring goals for fun. But you know what's actually really interesting here? Himself and Archer are actually, like, the two of them are playing really well together in that team. So let's just say we want to change it, and we do. Let's just say things are going good or things aren't going well, and he does change it mid-game to a 3-5-2. And you bring on an Archer and a Davis up front. Maybe they work better as a partnership than an Archer and a Watkins, or obviously Ings isn't there, or Watkins or an Ings. I really don't care who plays as long as we win. I'm at that stage.
Well, like, we all want to win. I want to win the next 2 games. I think the next 2 games are important to us. I think if we could set down a marker by going beating West Ham today, and I fully expect us to have a good pop off Southampton on Friday, and then we're another bloody international break. So I don't want to go into international break feeling low again. So I want to go and get 2 results here and 2 positive results. And everybody to just get off the manager's back, because there's more important things than getting rid of the manager here.
Exactly.
We can't do anything until January anyway. So let's just get off his back, get behind the team. I just hope everyone in the stadium today just gets behind them.
Yeah, I'm okay. I'm okay with criticizing Dean Smith without calling for Smith out. I'm okay with criticizing Dean Smith when something like the Arsenal first half was so apparent, and we did criticize him after the Arsenal game. I'm okay with it. I actually started criticizing beforehand about the Watkins and Ings thing and the persistence with that. So it's okay to criticize the manager, but just because he makes a mistake in a game or 2 or 3 games in a row doesn't mean you sack him. I'm going to say, look at Spurs. Spurs had Mourinho, didn't work, sacked him. They already want rid of Nuno Espirito Santo after 10 games. And then they're going to bring in the next guy. When will they want to sack him? Are we not us, but are more and more teams on the verge of becoming a Watford? I think that's an extreme example. I'm not saying we're going to be anything like a Watford, but it's guys, what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying. I meant to do my rant at the start in my Macho Man Randy Savage impression, but I'll save that for the post match one if you guys are okay. But for those of you who don't know, that was just something we were messing about on Twitter today. We have a look. Shall we have a look at the West Ham team? And once again,
no big surprises in there. Fabianski, Johnson, Zuma, Agbona, Creswell, Rice, Soucek, Bowen, Fornals, Benrahma, and Antonio.
Yeah, I could have picked that. I could have mentioned.
I think everybody did. Yeah.
That damn David Moyes been so stuck in his ways. Always picking the same 11. Always picking the same formation. It works when you're winning. It's the best thing in the world, and when you're not, unfortunately. And it's okay to say that, and it's okay to criticize something when you're not winning, trying the same thing over and over again. We've seen a reaction, as Dean Smith said. He's given a reaction. I'm going to say, if it was because he feels it's the better formation, or if he is feeling the pressure and he changed it back because of that, let's see what the outcome is. I don't care. It doesn't really matter. It's a narrative inside a narrative that doesn't really mean anything at the end of the day. But it's an interesting one, and it's made me really look forward to this game later on. So yeah,
the only saving grace for us with that team is settled. There's not really a game changer as such on the bench. We know Lanzini and Yarmolenko can come on and do damage, but are they as good as what's on the pitch? Probably
Nikola
not.
Vlasic is a magic footballer, but
I haven't seen enough of him now to comment on that.
This is his second stint in the Premier League now. So he was here with Everton some years ago when he was very young, but very, very good footballer. He's just still finding his feet in the Premier League so far. Again, even though it is his second stint, as I say, he's still finding his feet, but really good. When I'm looking at this team, the fact that I think that Leon Bailey is going to if it's a 4-3-3, don't expect Leon Bailey, or expect Leon Bailey and Watkins to intertwine. I would expect, shall I say, Buendia to maybe stay on the right hand side more often. That's another thing. I've been very critical of Buendia recently. Now we're getting to see him in the right wing position, where a lot of fans wanted to see him, where he played his best stuff for Norwich. I think there's a lot of positives in that change. I think that the fact that they're in there, we need to pin this team back, and what we need to do is we need to bring the likes of a Bowen, a Fornals, a Benrahma back towards their own goal a small bit more, because I think we'd be okay if we're able to kind of stop this team from breaking from. I know I'm saying bringing them back towards their goals, but I want to really stop them from breaking from deep, if that makes sense. So I want to pin them back by controlling possession and making sure that they need to bring people back, and their fullbacks can't obviously overlap either, by having Buendia wide and Bailey or Watkins wide, and the two of them interchanging. I'm going to say it again. Zuma and Ogbonna are they're the archetypal two centre halves that you play balls down the side of them, you're going to get action. I sound like I'm a broken record saying play balls down the side, diagonal runs, and strikers scoring goals. I'm not looking forward to crossing the ball today against the two of those, and I'm hoping that we're not going to see that. It's been a massive feature of our game so far this season. We cross a lot of balls in. I'm not looking forward to that, if that is what we're going to do today. But I think we can get luck down the sides of the defenders. I think we can get luck at pressing and making sure that the likes of Bowen, Benrahma have to come back and help their fullbacks. And I think that's what we're going to see today. There's a great point here. It says midfield is going to need to play out of their skins if we're to get anything from this game. I 100% agree. I think midfield is going to be a tough area, and that's why I think we're going to go 4-3-3 today as opposed to 4-2-3-1. Because I think we're going to need to see a very disciplined and structured performance from from the midfield, and I think that's the right three. That three can do that because Nakamba is obviously defensive minded. Jacob Ramsey has been good in defence so far, and obviously carrying the ball, and then John McGinn is John McGinn. So, anything else in that, Paddy? I'm going to remove the team there for a moment.
No, nothing more else to say other than I'm a lot more upbeat than I was this morning. I think there's a lot to be thankful for in those couple of injuries or decisions that have been made. So I think for me, I'm a lot more positive, and I'm going to go for a 2-1 win today.
Yeah, and we said we'd do that. We said we'd see, because there was potentially a lot of turmoil and a lot of ups and downs that were going to happen on the with the team sheet. I had the tantrum before the team sheet was ever even read out or announced, but I'm glad I did, because I really want to support the team today from my own point of view, and I need to get off my chest to kind of almost nearly convince myself or remind myself that just because there's 3 centre halves there doesn't mean that we can't play well and can't win. So it was more kind of a rallying cry for myself than it was a go at anyone else. But I'm excited. I think the Ings injury is. I'd like to know more about it, because I don't like that he's not there. Of the 3 people who are missing, I don't like that he's not there. I think the Douglas Luiz injury, regardless, is like, just because in midfield is somewhere that we're light, and what I mean light is just on defensive people in there. So I'm not thrilled about that. And everybody knows I love Courtney House, So I think Courtney House can stand up and won't be bullied by Mikel Antonio, for sure, inside there. And we always have Mings that we can bring on if we need to, So.
I think that injury to Ings might be the kick up the arse that Watkins needs. This is his time to go and lead that line by himself, to try work a little bit harder, which I don't think he has done this season. Be that fitness or whatever it is. So I think there's a lot of pressure on him today, and we've seen him rise to it before. So I'd love to see him score today. That's my prediction: 2-1 win, goal for Ollie Watkins, maybe a goal for Bailey. I just think this is a huge game for us and a good chance to go and get 3 points here. I think we could catch them. I think it's going to be end to end to start with. I think it's going to be a frantic first 15, 20 minutes. And having said that, it could be a boring 0-0 draw.
Yeah, I'm worried about set pieces. I'm worried about set
we all
pieces.
are. Yeah.
West Ham have a very good record. Like, Antonio is great at set pieces. Like, I think I saw a stat recently where he's got 21 goals. 21 goals since the start of last season from set pieces. Sorry, not him. West Ham have, but Mikel Antonio has a great record from them as well. So we talk about us being set piece experts. They've dried up recently, which I think is another reason why we're seeing the change of formation, because we need to start being more creative and open play. A lot of people we've talked about XG. My feelings in XG are, I don't know if they're well documented, but I've said it a couple of times that XG for me, like when people put up the XG at halftime, it kind of really makes no sense. It's not that it makes no sense to me. I just think it's kind of pointless. And the reason being is because you've a whole second half and it could be 0-0 without one team having a shot. All it does is just confirm what you've seen from your own face on the screen. If you haven't had a shot, don't expect your XG to be good, because it can't be good. So it's for me that kind of stuff. But I think that is something that people want to improve, or that the team needs to improve, is chance creation. And chance creation in the right areas obviously increases XG. So that's why it is a valid statistic to use potentially at the end of the game. But based on it's really based on whether you actually get a shot away from the chance created at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Matthew, that's exactly it. It's an indicator, not fact. Exactly. Yeah, it's an indicator, not fact. I like that. Let's look at some comments. I feel like I've been neglecting the comments recently in streams, and I do apologize for that. Delboy, good to see you. Delboy says, I know one thing for sure: West Ham are going to be hard and fast. Are going to come hard and fast to us today. We need to get tough with them today. I actually think we do, specifically in midfield. I think we need to get the referee on our side very, very quickly. I can't remember who's refereeing it. That's Paddy's remit. I'll let you research that one, Paddy. But I think we're at home. Get the ref on side. It's, traditionally it's easier to get hometown decisions. And listen, I'll take a 1-0 win from a penalty, or I'll take a 4-0 win, 4-3 win today. I really don't care. I think a win is paramount today. But also, as I've said before, a lot of times, I think this is a must not lose game for Aston Villa as well, just to stem the flow against a big team. And when I say a big team, a team they're playing above their means. Sorry, I should really have said, as opposed to a big team, and a team that are one of the form teams in the Premier League, if not the form team in the Premier League at the moment. So
yeah. Chris Kavanagh is the referee today. Neil didn't do us much favours earlier in the season, so hopefully we get something off him today.
Yeah, absolutely. The remote property flipper says, praying we get off to a good start, could get very hostile very quickly with a poor one. Absolutely, 100%. I think I probably preempted, or not preempted it, but maybe it might have addressed that one in my opening soliloquy. It was Shakespearean, Freudian, whatever you want to call it. There was a lot of expletives in it, soliloquy at the start. But I agree, and I think it can get hostile today as well. Absolutely. But one way to not have it hostile is, number one, to name a 4-2-3-1 to give people hope at the start, and second of all, go out and play like we know you can play. Go out and play like you did against Chelsea, except without the scoreline. Go out and play like you did against Chelsea and get the scoreline like you did against United, and everyone will be bang up happy. Owen is nervous today. I'm a bit nervous about today as well. I'm nervous, but I'm expectant now after this. I'm nervous expectation after this as well.
The same could be said for everybody. We're all a bit nervous. We just need that 3 points to push us on. I think it'll make a huge difference if we get it.
Yeah. David says, massive one today, chaps. Have got to turn up today, or we get a scene to it. I think so. Absolutely. Sorry there, guys. I'm trying to keep up with the comments here. But that's remote property flipper says, whoever plays need Villa Park behind them, and I think they will be behind them. I think this is going to be shot in the arm for fans. Not that we have bad fans or anything like that, but I think it's going to be shot in the arm for fans. I think we're going to see a lot of singing, a lot of cheering. People are going to lose their nuts over Bailey because he's everyone's really wanting to see him from the start. Fingers and toes and everything else that you can crossed that he's not going to get injured and that he's fully fit. But really excited to see him today, and excited to see Buendia in his more favourite position as well. So that's definitely something that we want to look at. Guys, I just noticed we've got a colossal amount of people watching the podcast. Well, colossal for us. If you don't already like the podcast, or if you don't already subscribe to the podcast, can you please subscribe it? And also, we've got the ones of 150 people watching now. Could you all click on the like button just so the algorithm actually notices that we're here? And maybe it might push it on, because I'd love to have 200 people watching someday, just to get more discourse and more opinions and stuff like that. And people to tell me I'm wrong, that's okay too. I have no problem with somebody doing that. But if you could do that, that'd be absolutely superb. I don't ask it all. I always forget to ask about that. Kavanagh says, delighted to see Dean had it in him to drop Mings. Yeah, we kind of discussed that. It's called managerial courage, I suppose. We'll find out later why. This could basically just be because of Mikel Antonio. It could be, but I would be absolutely flabbergasted if it wasn't the first question that was asked with regards to players in the post-match
of course,
piece.
yeah,
or maybe in the pre-match piece. We might even get to find out about it on Sky. So let's see that. And conversely, which is okay too, the dropping Mings is a massive mistake. But once again, for me, he's the better defender of himself in house. But we'll find out the reasons and the context for why. Hopefully, and hopefully,
Ronan is perfectly entitled to
100%. He's not wrong.
He's been immense for us for a long period of time. But when you start to make mistakes and he's made enough of them too, I think it shows a measure of Dean Smith that he can be, stand up for his own decisions too, and make a huge decision to drop your captain is phenomenal.
Yeah, I think so. I think so too. Welsh, Woody, Ings and Louise, rumours abound that they're both injured. They both picked up slight little niggles over the last couple of days. They're not on the bench. So those rumours, and I said that they were it was a bit conspiratorial. I was wondering would I even say it, because I just only seen it in a couple of sites. It turned out to be absolutely 100% right. So big up to all to you guys know who you are, whose Twitter I saw it on. Yeah, so Ings and Louise injured. Mings picked up a knock in training, but okay for the bench if needed. Samson dropped from squad and Traore not match ready. Yeah, I think that probably sums it up for where the players are at the moment. Adrian Parker says here, how is it better for a set piece threat of West Ham's like Bona and Sushek? Interesting. We mentioned the set piece, but I didn't put two and two together as to potentially why he's in there, because House just doesn't miss anything in the air. He's an assured defender of the ball aerially, and maybe that is something as well.
Possibly, yeah.
Maybe that is something as well there. Well, AJ says here, fair play to Dean, much needed changes, desperate times and all that. Yeah, absolutely. You know, change it up and see what happens. That's what people wanted. He's giving people what they wanted, and let's see what happens. And we could very well go out and lose today, but that doesn't mean that that Smith needs to be fired. You know,
and it doesn't mean that making that decision is wrong either. It's just that we're playing against a better opposition today, who are fourth in the league, who are well capable of pushing on into those Champions League positions, and it's not going to be any walk in the park. Although I do still think we're going to pull something out of this today.
I think, I'm feeling good about today.
The minute I saw that team, I'm just bubbling here, ready to get on the couch and get a beer open and have a good, relaxing evening, hopefully, and not be on the edge of my seat.
Yeah. Strong management from Smith. We'll still get Smith out if we lose. Man can't win. Up the Villa. Look, I think there's some people don't like him as a manager, and look, that's cool. We're never going to have 100% parity in agreement with the manager. Only teams that realistically have had that are probably Klopp at the moment, Sir Alex Ferguson when he was with United, and potentially Arsene Wenger up from years 1 till 9, I would say, and then the rest of them then was very much the opposite way. Where else are we? This is an interesting one. Is Ings injured or just refusing to go on the bench? And I think, Darren, feel free to comment again on this. Am I right in saying that this might be picked up from the fact that Ings said he wasn't going to go anywhere to be a sub, and that's why he came to Aston Villa? I know he's injured. I'm 99.5% certain that he's injured, but yeah, interesting one.
I'll be very surprised if that's the case.
if that is the case, we mightn't see Danny Ings again, because I wouldn't be putting up with that if that is the case. But just interested, Darren, is that because of the comment that he said? This is why I'd love to be able to do a phone in, because I'd love to be able to chat through people, because sometimes a written text can be it lacks context, and I'm just really interested in that. Is that because I've seen it said a couple of times that he was quoted as saying that he was going to come somewhere, he wasn't going to go somewhere where he wasn't playing and be a substitute. I'm not sure I've read that quote myself, but just interested, as I say, is all. Just interested. Nakamba tweeted before kickoff, which made it obvious he was playing, giving West Ham an advantage. Smith won't be happy about that. Does your defensive midfielder give West Ham an advantage? I don't know. I doubt they're
going to change their team at that stage of the game anyway. So.
I'm not sure that they were getting out the whiteboard marker and rubbing off what was on the whiteboard previously. Potentially they could. Maybe they're going to target him. Maybe they target him because he's smaller in stature and they bully him. Like maybe Declan Rice plays a small bit up further forward and sits on him. Or maybe they move Jared Bowen in there to move him around. I don't know. You could be right. You could be right. It's not something that crossed my mind. We'll see. We'll absolutely see. Darren says that Watkins needs to have the game of his career today. He needs to have his game of the season today, I would say. But he's unless he plays to the level of the 7-2, you mightn't have the game of his career, because that one will take a while to eclipse. But I get what you mean.
That'll do, Neil. I'll accept that much.
yeah, absolutely.
If he scores 3 and is disappointed he didn't score 5, I'd be very happy with the end of 90 minutes today.
Yeah. And Darren also says, love to see Archer get some playing time today. Well, he's making it bloody hard for the manager not to take notice of him, isn't he? You know, he's even developed his own signature trademark celebration and everything, you know. Getting out the old bow and arrow. I know it must have taken him years and years to come up with that one. Like, how did he ever think of that, considering his name is Archer? But If he's any bit as good as a former Irish striker that used to have that as a celebration, then we'd be bloody happy with it. I can tell you that for sure. And answers in the comments for anyone who knows who we're talking about. It's an interesting one from Shark Spray. Glad Mings got dropped. Shows everyone else they're undroppable. They aren't undroppable. Mings' mistakes have been terrible recently. Hopefully this will make him up. Yeah, he's made mistakes recently, and as I say, nobody's undroppable. Who is captain today? Actually,
John McGinn.
Johnny McGinn, of course. So he's
your vice captain.
Is he a Johnny McGinn? Does Johnny's kind of suit some people?
Very Scottish name, though, isn't it, Johnny?
Johnny McGinn. Yeah, I suppose I could see Johnny McGinn, Johnny Giles. He's a bit of a Johnny Giles about him, doesn't he? I don't know. Tangential again, guys. I'm sorry. Going off on one there. This is a really, really, really interesting one here. Except for one person. There's one person on the list I don't really agree with the point from the point of press, and that's Bailey. But we should have a lot of pressing with Ramsey, Buendia, Watkins, McGinn. And this goes back to what I was saying about pushing back the fullbacks, making sure that they are back and they need help from their two wingers, because I think we will see Buendia press the living daylights out of Aaron Cresswell, stop him from getting forward. And is it Ben Johnson on the other side?
Yeah. I think Bailey will press him and push him back.
I think Bailey will run at him from deep and make sure that he has to stay back.
McGinn is the one I don't want to see pressing. I think we need to see him sitting and serving a bit of energy in order for the other battles that come. But I think Ramsey, the battle between Ramsey and the two sitting centre halves or two sitting central midfielders is going to be huge for us today. So I think if he buzzes in around them and puts them under pressure, that will make life a lot difficult for them.
Gary Doherty, yes, correct, Dara. That's the famous Irish striker that we were talking about, the great Gary Doherty, or Doherty, depending on what part of the world you're getting your commentary from. Craig says, lose today and away to Southampton and Smith is gone. There you go, guys. Get down to the bookies. Put the child's college fund on it. You could be right. You mightn't be right. Let's see. As I say, it won't be us that's making the decision. And we're going to win today anyway. So it's going to make you might be gone. So, yeah. But you could be right.
He does, in fairness to him, he does have a point. Everybody says
100%.
Five straight defeats could lead to your P45. So hoping that's not the case. I hope we go and get the 3 points today.
Absolutely. And I'm not being disingenuous there by saying get down to the bookies, but you could be right that he could go. And as I say, we'll see, and we'll criticize him today after the game if we feel we need to, or if there's stuff that's out of his control, we'll mention that there was stuff that was out of his control. But just because we mention stuff that was out of his control doesn't really mean we're making excuses either. No. It's just calling it as we see it and trying to put context around it. But yeah, I think a lot of people are talking about it already in the national media. In the local media, they're talking about it. So, geez, if you lose 5 in a row, it'd be non-stop wall to wall. Is it time for Smith to go conversation at that stage for sure? Reading some West Ham fans' forums, they're confident of a win today. Let's show them we won't lie down and take a beating up the Villa. Yeah, they should be confident. They're fourth in the league, and as far as they're concerned, they're the best team to play in Claret and Blue in the Premier League at the moment. So no, we got to win back that title. We got to win back that title for sure. Absolutely. This is exactly me. If you heard the first 5 minutes of this podcast, I don't care how. Just win the bloody game. I don't care if they have to fucking dig up Pongo Waring and warm him up and put him in their striker or whatever. Just get the game won. It's that's exactly it for me. And whether I'll talk of formation stuff. Formations can be tweaked and stuff, and we've seen the tweaks today, and we now have what looks on paper to be a 4-3-3, 4-2-3-1, but it doesn't look to me unless there's going to be unless he's going to have a madness and playing the Canberra centre half. It's not going to be a 3-5-2 in this instance here. And as much as I love John McGinn to put him in the same, I was kind of going with the kind of the effervescent small guy comparison more so than John Giles from the skill point. But more than
John Giles kicking each other up and down the pitch. I was
just about to say, I could imagine, like John McGinn recently has gotten frustrated and kicked out of players. I could imagine or John McGinn has. I could imagine McGinn could have played back in the 60s and 70s when Giles was flying it as well. Actually, he does look. He's a bit of a throwback player like that. He's one of those players that, for if you play computer games, like he always has the L1 button pushed down. You know, he just runs around all the time, John McGinn. So I think he would have done well in the 70s when there was no such thing as hamstrings and there was no such thing as being unfit, because everybody was unfit.
And drank points and smoked fags.
Yeah, at halftime. Sorry, there's something blocking my screen there a small bit. Gosh, we've been on for nearly 40 minutes. I have somewhere to be in the next 10 minutes, guys. So we're going to wrap it up now. We got some great numbers there. I really appreciate it, guys. I would really love if you could just click on the like button, get the, let's have the algorithm working for us. Somebody might enjoy my rant. Somebody might hate it. They might tell me. I'm sure they will, whether they like it or whether they hate it. Really appreciate that. If you aren't already subscribed, please hit subscribe. Hit the bell if you want to be notified when we go live, because we may not always pop it up on social media. Just like I just remembered, or I just realized that I didn't do that today as well. But we still got one of our big. Maybe I shouldn't tell people we're going live, because we got some good numbers there today. But great stuff to everybody, and thanks so much for your support. 28 minutes to kick off. Going to let you get settled and get into where you need to be before the game starts. Here's to a great game today. I'm hoping for a 2-1 win, the same as Paddy, but I say I will be happy as long as we come out of here without a loss today and stem the bleeding. Regather before the Southampton game, and then onwards towards the international break, when hopefully we'll try and get as many people healthy as possible. So thanks 100%. So much, everybody, for listening. Paddy, anything to say before we go?
No, nothing at all.
Brilliant. Well then, in that case,
couldn't get a word in today, Neil. It's grand.
Because I was just afraid in case I was going to fall asleep on the podcast, so I had to get everything out of my mouth early. That would have been one for the ages. But look, guys, go away, get ready, get yourself parked in front of the TV or wherever you're watching it, and all that's left to say is up the Villa.
Up the Villa.